Has Representative Mike Turner killed UFO disclosure? Well, he's certainly crippled it in the House, hasn't he? Saying that there will be no further U.A.P. hearings with the House Oversight Committee with Tim Burchett. So what's the deal? Who is this guy? Is he an agent of the control group? Well, let's see if we can find out. There's also other UFO news. Logan Paul talks about his UFO footage and when he's going to release it and other stuff. So get in here. It's time for another UFO news roundup. This is Jack with Cosmic Road. I talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please hit like, please subscribe, share on social media, and let me know what you think in the comments below. Okay, let's get right to it. Here is what Representative Mike Turner, who, by the way, is the chair of the House Intelligence Committee. A little suspicious there, since David Grusch gave his evidence to both chambers of Congress, the intelligence committees of both chambers of Congress, some time ago. Ross Coulthart says 2 years ago. And what have they done with it since then? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So when you see Mike in these interviews, keep that in mind, that he already knows everything. David Grusch gave him the names of the people involved in UFO retrieval and reverse engineering operations, as well as the locations of these programs. That's right, the locations of these recovered UFOs. That's what Mike Turner knows. So let's see if what he says in these interviews.
Mr. Chairman, obviously part of the story is that they've held it from Congress, from the administration. I mean, it's pretty astonishing if true. Anything to weigh in on?
Brett, this has been a story since the 1960s, really. Every decade there's been individuals who've said that the United States has such pieces of unidentified flying objects that are from outer space. There's no evidence of this, and certainly it would be quite a conspiracy for this to be able to be maintained, especially at this level.
Okay, so has Mike Turner just admitted that there's a conspiracy? I don't think that's what he was going for, but yeah, he says there's no evidence. And we know for a fact that David Grusch actually presented him with the evidence. So Mike Turner is just flat out lying. But what else has he said?
You know, Maria, I always love it when you have somebody who comes forward and testifies about things that they don't know anything about. I mean, the most, I think, striking aspect of all of the testimony was repeatedly over and over again, the whistleblowers had to say, actually, I don't have any knowledge of this. Somebody else told me that. I mean, really, this would take thousands and thousands of people for such an unbelievable cover-up to be occurring. And for people to speak with such confidence over something that they do not know is, I think, something certainly everybody needs to be concerned about.
So aliens are not on Earth, then?
Maria, I certainly can't tell you that there are no aliens here. I can tell you that certainly there's no evidence that what the gentleman is testifying about. He said himself personally, he has no direct knowledge.
Yeah, but he does have direct knowledge, doesn't he? And he's an investigator. Does a detective have direct knowledge if he's investigating a murder and he is interviewing a witness that has seen the murder? So, but it also appears that David Grusch may have actually seen a saucer. So, as reading between the lines and what he said. But yeah, but that doesn't matter because David Grusch is corroborated by some of the people that he actually interviewed who are involved in these programs. And the intelligence committees have that information. They have the names of the people involved, and presumably they have some of that testimony that they gave the Inspector General. That's right, the people involved in these UFO retrieval and reverse engineering operations actually corroborated David Grusch by testifying, some of them, to the Inspector General, and it is assumed that that material was made known to the intelligence committees. We don't have any confirmation on that, or at least I don't. If you do, please let me know in the comments below. But Mike Turner is just flat out lying, although maybe he's not in some ways. He says that it would take a conspiracy of thousands to pull this off. So what do you know, Mike Turner? What do you know about this conspiracy of thousands? And he also wouldn't go as far as to say there were no aliens on Earth. I thought that was interesting as well. But what he did make a point of is in trying to discredit David Grusch. Some people think Mike Turner is heavily influenced by major contractors that have given him a lot of money, legally. And that may well be the case, or it could be that he is a direct agent of the control group, or maybe they're synonymous. Maybe the big companies are so heavily involved with the control group that it's really the same thing. Let me know what you think in the comments below, guys. Is Mike Turner an overt agent of the control group? Or is he just, playing the Washington game, getting along to go along, or something like that? Just typical Washington corruption. Meanwhile, we all know that Logan Paul secretly recorded some really amazing, apparently, UFO footage. And everybody has just been chomping at the bit to see this footage because, nobody thinks that Logan Paul really has ethical complications to release this stuff. So what exactly is he waiting for? Well, apparently Logan Paul is waiting for the U.S. government to acknowledge UFOs before revealing the footage. So we may be in for a wait if current indicators are any indication, such as Mike Turner putting the clamp down on future U.A.P. hearings in the House Oversight Committee. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, here's an article from the New York Post. YouTuber Logan Paul claims he has secret UFO video said to be the most compelling ever. YouTuber and wrestler Logan Paul has confirmed a viral rumor that he has a copy of a legendary UFO video said to be the most compelling evidence of the phenomenon ever caught on camera. Speaking on his impulsive podcast on Tuesday, the 28-year-old media personality finally broke his silence about the story told by UFO documentary filmmaker James Fox on the Joe Rogan Experience last month. Paul confirmed Fox's claim that while he unsuccessfully tried to buy the footage from Nevada man Chuck Clark for $100,000 in cash, he used a hidden camera to record the TV screen after asking to watch the video. What do you want from me, bro? I'm a little sneaky F, Paul said. Well, he is, and he's sitting on some juicy footage, and he won't release it because he's waiting for the U.S. government to admit there's UFOs. That's a weak reason there, my friend, but whatever. Yeah, that's all I got. In other news, I guess this counts as UFO news because it's UFO Joe and it deals with anomalous phenomena. UFO Joe, Joe Murgia, recently had some health complications and he went to the hospital and was diagnosed with a kidney stone. Well, apparently it was a remote viewer that told him before he went into the hospital that that's what it was, even though the medical diagnosis was for something else. So I will link to this story, if you will, and you can listen to Joe describe this in more detail. But I thought that was really interesting that apparently this famous remote viewer vouched for by none other than Kit Green, who said she has like 100% accuracy with medical diagnoses. And I know people that can do, maybe not 100%, but that are very good medical intuitives. Well, apparently she was able to read his kidney stone, and she diagnosed it accurately, even going against the Western medical practitioners to do so. In other news, this is a video that's been making the rounds on Twitter. It's an old video, but it talks about some stuff that is evergreen, and that is why the beings are here. What is the alien abduction phenomenon all about? She is a contactee and abductee, and she has some insight into these questions, and she has some answers for us. So let's just listen for a moment for describing coming to peace with what has been happening with her, and also learning about why these beings are here and what their ultimate agenda is.
And after I found out what had happened, I was at peace with what had happened, knowing that there's nothing that I can do about it, because I cannot stop them. Nobody can stop them from doing what they want to do. Nobody on this earth, because they are too far advanced mentally and technologically for we don't have a defense at all.
Yeah, it's like they do magic.
Yeah, they could come in today and take over if that was their desire. But like I said, I don't feel that it's their desire to take over through violence, and they don't care about governments. See, government control is not their thing. They want bodies, and they want minds that are going to do what they want the minds to do, but they need the bodies to do whatever it is with. And that's where we come in.
That's where we come in. The alien abduction phenomenon, a large part of it is geared toward the creation of human-alien hybrids. And we don't know what their ultimate goal is. She says they have no interest in the government, which is interesting, which would seem to fly in the face of some people that believe in the reptilian agenda and so on. So, who knows? There's various abductees and contactees that say similar things. And, but until we have some sort of official disclosure licensed by the beings, because I don't think we're actually going to get official disclosure until the beings think that it's time. Well, until the beings come out and tell us what the hell they're about, we're probably not going to know for sure. But our best insights into what is happening with our world, acted upon by agencies potentially from outside our world, is to listen to what the experiencers have to say. So I think I'm going to start making a point of including here and there some experiencer accounts and testimony, because they are our best peek beyond the veil. In other news, this is really interesting. This is a CAA document from a study, and you can read it at your leisure. It's I'm not going to read it to you, but it's a real study that seems to confirm the phenomenon of telekinesis, which I find very interesting. About 20 senior researchers observed this experiment. Among them were physicists and chemists from China Institute of Atomic Energy and somatic science specialists from the Institute of Space Medico Engineering. And so it's a straight up paper that you can read that has been declassified or whatever by the CAA, and it seems to confirm telekinesis. Now, I could talk more about that in my own research and potentially experiences in that, but I'm not going to do that at the moment. But there may or may not be a good reason why people that have abilities don't share them. And why Uri Geller, although apparently he is very gifted, and people that have actually gone into skiffs with him and seen him do some amazing things, who have come out of those skiffs saying that, yeah, he's the real deal. Well, there may be a reason that Uri Geller calls himself an illusionist instead of a straight up telekinetic. Is there some sort of cosmic law in place? I don't know. And that's all I can say for the moment. Finally, what is this little guy? Is that a little gray alien or something? I don't know. This is crazy. Check it out. It could all be a hoax. I mean, come on. It's Reddit, right? But Park Forestall alien. The Park Forestall alien sighting, and it is an ET sighting that took place in 2004. The witness was a civil engineer by the name of German Pereira. I'm not going to even bother with that name. Who was taking a few snapshots of the state police on horseback in Chile. Okay, so he's taking some shots of the police. They're riding the horses. It all looks very pretty. But wait, what's that guy? What? If anybody knows if this picture has been debunked as a hoax, please let me know, because I think this is really interesting, a really interesting picture, and I would love to know the truth of it. So if you know it, let me know. Meanwhile, there's an article in the Washington Post that kind of poo-poos the UFO disclosure that seems to be happening. They kind of chalk it up to a ratings thing. For cable news, UFO story has ratings payoff in reporting pitfalls. I'm not going to read the whole article to you, but I'm just going to skip down to the last paragraph because I think maybe it's the most important paragraph. Why? Because they quote John Greenwald. I mean, hey, I love John Greenwald in my own way. I think he has done great work FOIA-ing documents, and I think he has really increased our knowledge base substantially through these documents. But his attacks on Lou, etc., have really rubbed me the wrong way. And then he chimes in to the Washington Post on this kind of BS article. The clash continued days later when News Nation Elizabeth Vargas erroneously reported that Klippenstein had been fired from The Intercept based on her misreading of a wry tweet from the writer. She later corrected herself, though she grumped that this reporter has a history of pranks. The News Nation spokesperson called Klippenstein's Twitter joke unprofessional. In John Greenwald's view, Vargas's error seemed to reflect News Nation's over-eagerness to defend Grusch, and by extension, its high-profile interview with him. To me, he says, that's just careless. So, according to John Greenwald, News Nation is over-eager to defend David Grusch. So instead of John Greenwald, a UFO researcher, being eager to get this information out there and to learn what David can share with us and what his information can bring to light with more whistleblowers in these programs, etc., instead of being excited about this new era of UFO disclosure that David Grusch could be bringing about right now, John Greenwald is attacking News Nation for bringing the story to us in the first place. They're overeager, he says. Very frustrating. Anyway, let me know what you think about all this, guys, in the comments below. If you've enjoyed this video, please give me a big thumbs up. I sure appreciate it. Smash the subscribe button and the bell to be notified of future videos. You don't want to miss a thing. Join me on social media. There's Facebook and Twitter links below. I would love to see you guys there. If you could share this video on social media, that'd be super helpful, super groovy. I would love that. If you wanted to support Cosmic Road in a bigger way, there's a PayPal button below. Or heck, you could become a channel member and become a rock star, because channel members are rock stars. I love you guys. Meanwhile, there's plenty of other videos to check out on the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. This is Jack with Cosmic Road, signing out.